Now, I'm not gonna lie, part 2 of version 4.3 to me is kind of just in the back burner. That's just for me though, because of the fact that 4.4 just looks amazing. However, I will say that the banners for version 4.3 part 2, at least with the new character Chevreuse and then Raiden Shogun and Yoimiya, are not something that you want to turn your heads away from. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is if you should summon for Raiden Shogun, Yoimiya, and of course the new character Chevreuse. Now, of course, if you like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next Genshin Impact video comes out. And of course, leave a comment. Would love to hear y'all's opinions on this. Y'all, I am sponsored by Gamer Subs. If you couldn't tell by the massive amount of Gamer Subs in the back. Sponsored by them, use code TASHE for 10% off. Of course, fantastic, wonderful, wonderful drinks. I'm just saying. Anyways, without any further delay, let's go ahead and get into today's video. As you can see, we have the Raiden Shogun and of course the Yoimiya banners up right now. This is from obviously x.com or twitter.com, however you want to say it. So big shout out to Genshin Impact for providing these details. Now, these got released earlier last week, so it's not like there's a lot to, you know, cover, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have already covered it, but I want to give my opinions on this. So first things first, let's talk about Bennett. Benny Boy. Benny Boy is amazing. Bennett is absolutely fantastic, especially right now in the meta with how many of the 5 stars are not letting Bennett C6 override their own abilities. And to be honest, Raiden Shogun is one of those characters that doesn't get overridden on the ability. So there's that. Bennett is a fantastic unit. He not only does the burst, or not burst healing, but he not only does he heal your characters, the active character on the field, but he boosts up their attack. And he's fantastic. He does so much great stuff. He's one of the best characters in the game still, and it's just crazy because he's been out since the beginning of the game. It just goes to show you how broken some of these characters were back in the day, because they still stay the test of time. It's just how it is. Let's go ahead and talk about Kujo-Sara though. Kujo-Sara is pretty good. I won't say that Kujo-Sara is absolutely insane, but I do know that Kujo-Sara has her kind of downsides. I don't have her at C6, I believe, the last time I checked. But it's been a little bit since I've checked her. Now, I'm pulling up her information really quick because it has been a while since I've used her, but I do know that she's going to at least help with overload. I do know that her skill gives an attack bonus. So that's pretty dope in of itself, but you have to get that feather, I believe is how it goes. And then of course, well, let's just talk about the skill really quick. Gains Crow Feather cover for 18 seconds, and when Kujo-Sara fires a fully charged aim shot, Crow Feather cover will be consumed and will leave a Crow Feather at the target location. Crow Feathers will trigger Tingu Juda ambush after a short time, dealing electro damage and granting the active character within its AoE an attack bonus based on Kujo-Sara's base attack. So you want to build her up with attack. And then of course she has her burst, which is a subjugation Quo Sendo. Cast down the Titan Breaker, dealing AoE electro damage. Afterwards, Titan Breaker spreads out into 4 consecutive bouts of Storm Cluster, dealing AoE electro damage. Can provide the active character with their within their AoE the same attack bonus as given in the elemental skill. The attack bonus provided by various kinds of Tengu Judai will not stack, and their effects and duration will be determined by the last Judai to take effect. Now, again, this is between the skill and the burst. You don't get both of them. You only get one of them, which is the downside to Kujo-Sara. And when she is C6, she does really, really well. Her C6 being the electro damage of characters who have had their attack increased by Tingu Jura has a crit damage increased by 60%, which is great for our girl Raiden Shogun here. So that's good, but it wouldn't entirely help out with Yoimiya, but she still does give an attack bonus based on the skill that isn't just electro based, so you don't have to worry about that when it comes to Yoimiya, so that's good. Now let's go ahead and talk about Chevreuse. Chevreuse is going to be the new, I guess, not meta, but going into the new type of team support that is, in my opinion, very much needed, because I want to see more teams like this. And I think that Chevreuse being an overload support is actually really, really good. And I think it gives more characters, more uses. Now, let's say you're going into Spiral Abyss and it really needs overload characters to kind of get through, like floor 12 doesn't have like effects, but floor 11, and you're having a hard time somehow, some way. Chevreuse is that good character to have. Now, is Spiral Abyss hard? Not entirely anymore, to be honest, especially with the amount of crazy characters that we have. But Chevreuse could be that character if you want to run an overload team that you kind of want. She heals, she basically does like so much with the overload reaction, so it's kind of one of those things where I feel like she's a plus because she's new and she gives new incentives to build an overload team. Now, before we switch over to Raiden Shogun, let's talk about Yoimiya first. Yoimiya is one of those characters I feel that is highly underappreciated. She's a very good pyro DPS, and especially as a bow user, she's an auto attacker. So you go into your E, you activate the E to get the pyro infusion, and you get a boost from it. You start attacking with your auto attacks, and she does really, really well. The only problem is that she gets hit pretty hard. Like, she, unless you somehow build her with high defense, high HP, which you shouldn't, she gets hit so hard that she just flops. Now, what I would say maybe, right, and this would be for like an all pyro team, is you could run a Dia instead of a Kujosara, but then again, you're losing out on the whole overload reaction stuff with Chevreuse, so I wouldn't use Dia, but Dia usually helps out with that stagger, so maybe instead of Bennett, I guess, but you'd be losing one of the best characters on the team. So Yoimiya like does benefit from a team of overload. Maybe you could just flip out Kujosara, put in Raiden Shogun as that, well, not an attack buffer, but to get that application for Electro or other Electro characters in general, and you could benefit from that. But either way, Yoimiya is still really, really good with whatever team you put her in. It doesn't have to be an overload team. You could put her in multiple types of reaction teams, and she'd do just fine as one of the better DPSs in my personal opinion. And her stories are so fantastic. She's one of those characters that I absolutely love seeing in the story every single time. Raiden Shogun has a booba sword. It's as simple as that. But no, Raiden Shogun is really, really good, especially with their Electro application and being able to help apply in this team comp, as you're looking right here, helping to apply that overload reaction. Now, of course, if she's the main DPS of this team, she works like that too. Do you want to run her as a main DPS? This is great. You want to run her as a sub DPS, off-field DPS? She can do that as well. She's very versatile, and that's what is really good about pulling these Archons, is because most of the Archons are overpowered AF right now. So Raiden Shogun is definitely one of those characters that I always tell people, consider summoning. She is top tier for good reason, and she stayed top tier for a good long while. So should you summon on Yoimiya with Chevreuse? Honestly, I think if you're going to choose between the two banners, Yoimiya would not be the one. And it's not because she's not good, it's just that I feel that with Raiden's banner, it's better because you're getting those two Electro characters and you're getting two Pyro characters. You're getting a versatile DPS who could be a main DPS or a sub DPS, depending on what you want to do. With Yoimiya, she is strictly a main DPS. At least that's how I see it. I don't see her being an off-field because of the fact that her E doesn't do all that much. And if you use her burst, it works, but you're only going to use her for her burst. So what's the point? I feel that with Yoimiya being a main DPS, it limits her with this banner. However, she's still really, really good. So if you want to pull for her, I say do it. She's worth your primos. Should you summon for Raiden Shogun? Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Raiden Shogun with this team is going to do really, really well. Bennett and Kujosara giving those attack buffs, especially with Kujosara being able to give that C6 buff as well to give 60% crit damage, works so incredibly well in tandem with Raiden Shogun. And then Chevreuse being a part of that overload type of team, gonna help you out with not only heals but giving you that pyro application alongside Benny Boy. You're gonna do just fine with this team. I think that this is a great starter team to work with. The only problem is that you have to get to Fontaine if you're just starting out to upgrade your Chevreuse, and you have to get to Inazuma to upgrade your Kujosara and Raiden Shogun. So it's going to be a long road ahead of you to upgrade this team. However, if you're moderately in the game, This is a great summon. I think that you should honestly consider summoning for either Raiden Shogun or Yoimiya. However, I will say we have 4.4 around the table. We have 4.4 around the corner. So be ready for Cloud Retainer and Gaming, because we don't know what those banners are going to look like just yet. And I truly, truly believe that it's going to be fun in 4.4. But if you don't want to wait, this is a great banner to summon on. And y'all, that's going to be it for today's video. If you like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. And let me know in the comments what you think about these two banners. Of course, thank you so much. I love you all to death. And as always, we will catch you in the next Genshin Impact video. Please take care and be safe.